Non-resistance is a challenging concept to most of us, especially in times of dire social crisis and upheaval. Many of us don't even know what non-resistance as a spiritual practice really means. But to put it simply, being non-resistant in a spiritual context means two things. One, to be accepting of the parts of our world and life which are out of our control. And two, recognizing that resistance always works against us. Because what we resist has a tendency to persist. Hold on to this thought. Soldiers never put on battle gear when going with their kids for an ice cream. Non-resistance is strategic and uses a calm, non-anxious presence to thoughtfully determine the best way to accomplish an objective. It prevents our adversaries from instinctively feeling they need to put on their battle armor. It's our egos which demand people jump when we say jump and because we said it, rather than dialogue, rather than attempting to achieve mutual understanding. Making demands of others might get you what you want right now, but it erodes your effectiveness over time and only displays your resistance to people's humanity and dignity. It's the difference between correcting a child with words of instruction rather than the back of your hand. One is being non-resistant to who they are as children and uses that as a starting point for developing their maturity. The other is a brute force behavioral correction which accomplishes nothing but rage and a lack of understanding. Being non-resistant is talking to your child. Being resistant is beating them, or not listening to them, or diminishing them in any way. There is a spiritual teaching that we are to love our enemies and pray for those who persecute us. We're also encouraged to turn the other cheek, though not for more punishment, but to simply withdraw our energy from that which torments us. This is non-resistance at its most effective. We don't have to allow ourselves to be beaten up or abused, of course. Sometimes we have to forgive from a distance. However, it's in our best interest to project love and peace toward those who would harm us. This is for our own sake far more than theirs. Projecting love alters our brain chemistry. Our rage poisons us from within. It does little to affect them or correct their unloving behavior. Be at peace for you. Others will benefit from your peace. Attempting to be less resistant, especially against things we know are wrong, is very difficult for Americans in particular, because we come from a culture born out of violent resistance. Our country was founded on riot and revolt. That's the constellation the United States was born under, like it or not. We continue to stand up and fight for what we want, though often without careful consideration, sometimes with disastrous consequences. Sometimes it holds a movement back. Sometimes it's the only thing power is willing to listen to. I can't say whether or not riots are always the final straw which accomplishes an intended social or political objective. But revolt is always the natural consequence of the oppressive resistance which rioters have experienced in their lives from a power structure which systematically resists their free existence. I could be talking about the Revolutionary War as much as our recent race riots. Resistance has its place in our history, including the history unfolding around us right now. But it is not a way of life. The first step in a choice to deliberately practice non-resistance is to open yourself toward a more vague, generalized state of allowing, not too specific. Nothing that might trigger our inner defenses toward putting up their shields, because we are often more resistant than we realize. A domino effect must begin somewhere, and it always needs to be somewhere small. Start by trying to imagine a generalized feeling of allowing. Imagine yourself feeling more comfortable with things you typically resist or resent. Visualize your comfort, revealing solutions you hadn't considered before. This set of thoughts launches a small but significant mental chain reaction. Keep pressing the button. Once the process of inner allowing gets going, new ideas about non-resistance become more noticeable. Start with things which can't harm you, but about which you've already formed a judgmental opinion just the same. Look for pet peeves, which don't really have an ability to affect your life in any way, but still manage to annoy you, and try to let go of them. Ridding yourself of judgment is non-resistance. This triggers new thoughts and recognitions of little places where you are resistant and reactionary when just a bit of thoughtful consideration might be the better path forward. It's not about holding back from doing what's right. It's about remaining calm and thinking about accomplishing the objective in the most peaceful way possible, especially before things get out of hand. Be at peace. Find ways of changing the world for the better while remaining peaceful and at ease. Some will resist this idea, and they are welcome to do so. Forward progress requires the efforts of those who fight as well as those who promote peace. But for you, consider ways in which you might find a different and likely easier path toward the reality you pray for. It's within your reach, and you will capture it, just as soon as you stop resisting it. Be at ease now. There's nothing here but these thoughts and words. Allow your body to be at ease. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, breathe into your heart center. Breathe in slowly again and hold for a moment before slowly exhaling again into your heart center. Send peace there. Send calm and loving energy. Lower your focus now to your stomach and send healing energy there. We tend to carry a lot of our stress here. Our anxiety affects all the systems of our body through this area. Visualize now a large and impossibly intricate knot of heavy rope tightly bound together in the area of your stomach. The knots look very heavy and difficult to undo. Yet once you've made the decision to undo them, you discover they come apart easily in your fingertips. Continue mentally unraveling the knots with your fingers. There are many of them, bound up together. As you work, feel a sense of patience and understanding and resolve overcome you. Picture sympathy for the rope and how tightly bound it was before you discovered it there suffering. Imagine wanting to put the rope at ease. Imagine the feeling of relief it has at your touch unraveling it. Perhaps no longer even remembering how it became so tangled in the first place. Picture benevolence occurring here. It no longer matters how it happened, only that relief is imminent. Imagine the sounds the rope makes as you pull it out through each loop of the knot. Imagine the texture of the rope, its scent, its material. As you continue to work, untying it becomes even easier, almost effortless. Soon the rope seems to anticipate what you want of it next, and before long is unraveling itself all on its own, seeking nothing but your pride and approval of its accomplishment. Suddenly the rope is untied and neatly coiled, ready for more productive use. There is benevolence here. As you breathe, allow the image of the coiled rope to fade away. Recognize suddenly you feel a new lightness of being. A weight was lifted you weren't even aware you had been carrying. A great and intimidating knot of anxiety and uncertainty had grown there now gone. Bathe for a moment in the sensation of relief. Think about how good it feels to be relieved of that weight. Think about how easily it came undone just by our intention to do so. You are free of something, but haven't yet figured out what. A burden is gone. A new open space now exists. It does not need to be filled with anything. Allow it to simply remain open for now. Picture the sunlight entering it, illuminating all the formerly dark corners. Breathe and be at ease. Allow this openness to feel good. Allow it to feel right and safe. Suddenly a warmth begins in the middle of this openness, a building up of heat and power. A light begins to form and project outward from you toward all that you see. This light is benevolence. This light can be shined on anything in order to see its truth. This is a light of empathy which looks past our judgment of people and helps us to be welcoming of heart and mind toward their humanity. This light helps us see why they do what they do and reveals the wound beneath the deed. Shine your light upon their wound. Be at ease. Share your ease with them. Share your benevolence with them. Hold them. Comfort them. Feel your judgment melt away. You feel only love and sympathy. You understand them better now. Without condoning their actions, you intuitively understand a bit more how they occurred and have compassion, mercy, benevolence. Breathe in benevolence. Exhale resistance. Breathe in compassion. Exhale judgment. Breathe in mercy. Exhale punishment and retribution. They are no longer necessary. There is another way.